In a school scandal, Professor Q and Shiu's friendship ended. The culprit? A study abroad slot. According to the school's old rules, the slot was supposed to go to the most promising student. Everyone in school knew she was a superstar, so how did he get passed over for two clueless students? Shiu, known for his temper, stormed into the office demanding to know why two clueless goofs got the slot. What on earth could they learn? Professor Q could hardly contain himself. As it turned out, one clueless mom was discussing study abroad with him, but she was still on the rant. Professor Q, trying to defuse the situation, ordered she to apologize, but she fired back, "Auntie, just how much did you spend to snag that spot?" What a comeback. After that incident, she was totally banished to the land of no return, barred from the operating room. It felt like a prison sentence lasting about 6 months. Then chaos erupted when Professor Q attended a seminar out of town, and a critically ill patient came knocking, with time ticking away. Who would have guessed that all the neurosurgeons had a simultaneous tummy ache, leaving Shiu as the lone warrior in the ill? Professor Q hurried back to the hospital, only to end up kicking Shiu out of the operating room. Consequently, Shiu had to endure a long, arduous night of surgery and was utterly exhausted. Professor Q let it slip he scored a spot for Shiu to study in Boston. If she agreed, it would lead to dramatic twists. She couldn't resist asking, "Are you really that bold?" Just a little misstep on those nerves, and you'll be on the retirement express. Professor Q smirked. He knew she too well see perfectionists like them wouldn't accept anything less than flawless. She fumed back to the pharmacy. The TV was predicting the medical ward, and Professor Q had won for 9 years straight. This year might just be the year for a miracle, and Shi's esteem was practically rising. That old man just wouldn't disappear from his life. After dinner, she noticed someone lurking outside. Upon closer look, it was a Kwon. Just then, the hunter neighbor returned with his catch. The neighbor asked Shi if he wanted to expand his pharmacy. They heard Molly planned to sell his restaurant. The old guy was fed up and decided to give his brother some cash before headed out to seek greener pastures. Why on earth would he want to buy that restaurant? Shi didn't say it, but inside, he was practically plotting his own food empire. Saozu picked up on the old vibe and urged Shi to relax. Don't sweat the small stuff. But Shi knew better. See, this was far from small potatoes. Had been devouring kimchi rice for 7 years, and boy, did he have feelings for it. Plus, he wasn't about to learn how to make it himself. No restaurant meant no food. Plus, Saozu tried to reason with Shi, thinking his anger had simmered down. Could they afford the spicy ingredients? 3 days later, Shi sat back in his usual spot only to find Kwon had ducked out on his treatment. Now the cops couldn't even track him down. Shi grinned like a kid and hurried home, leaving his umbrella behind. Sure enough, within a minute, a Kwon was hot on his trail, asking if Shi wanted to go grab a drink. Shi pretended to be laid back. "No, I've got better stuff at home. No need to hit the bars." Upon hearing it, a Kwon eagerly seized the opportunity and agreed instantly, whereas Shiu was already devising a grand surprise in his mind. Shiu had whipped up some tasty drinks, and on their way, he cleverly tricked a Kwon into downing a few gulps. Before long, they arrived, and a Kwon grabbed the plastic wrap as instructed. It wasn't until this very moment that he fully realized he was gasping for breath, utterly exhausted. Everything was ready, and then a concoction kicked in. A Kwon slumped onto the couch, lost in blissful dreams. When he finally woke, he found himself tightly bound, lying on the very plastic wrap had dragged in himself. He struggled valiantly but couldn't utter a word, nor could he turn over. Just as Shiu heard the ruckus and ambled over, Shiu bent down and made a shushing gesture, and a Kwon let out a soft whimper. But then without warning, Shiu acted faster than anyone could register. In an instant, a Kwon's artery burst, and blood gushed out like a fountain. Saozu promptly received a call, with Shiu on the other end urgently insisting that he hurry back home to tidy up. Yes, it's the restaurant guy. Saozu dashed off without even grabbing his backpack. He hurried home for a toolbox, stripped, entered the living room, and saw plastic wrap covered in snow gear and personal items. Filled with panic, Saozu wasted no time and set everything ablaze. Meanwhile, Shiu, blissfully alone, drove up to the hillside with ease. He casually dragged the body out, put on some light tunes, and began to dig. His movements were so practiced, it looked as if he had farmed for a lifetime. Before long, he dug a neat little hole, while Saozu sprayed the area with fluorescent testing agents. He then switched on the glow lights, cleaning up on the vegan extras. Just then, of all things, a police car passed by. The officers in the car saw Shi's place on fire again, and the flashing light sent chills down Ziox's spine. Burning again? Saozu immediately sensed something was amiss and noticed figures lurking in the shadows nearby. Without hesitation, he dashed to the window and to his surprise, saw the police car approaching them directly. Unbeknownst to Shiu, while preparing to ditch the body in the hole, he turned to find a light flashing not far away. He turned off the music as officers approached, finding a Kwon's clothes and ID still smoldering. Shiu hastily stashed the iron rod behind the car, ready to spring into action if needed. The flashlight beams pierced through the curtains, and Sayosu ducked for cover, hardly daring to breathe, terrified of the truth spilling out. Shi cautiously edged the rod closer, and in a glint of light, he noticed the flashlight sweeping over the body. "Oh no!"